The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Power Trading Hour with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, David White.
And welcome to another excellent edition of the Power Trading Hour with me, your host, from Astoria to Peoria to Pretoria to Victoria, all over the world. We'd love to come to you at this time every trading day.
The following takes place between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m.
So what a day makes. S&P's up 50, Dow up 268, NASDAQ 246, Russell up 2. And of course, I wanted to put this on because I had a bunch of people emailing me last night about how the market moves. And I had this one thought, and investing, you can be really right, but temporarily quite wrong. You need to be able to weather being told you're wrong all the time. So I will take your, you can call and get papal dispensation for doubting me. But a little bit more to the story yesterday of what was going on, but it certainly looks to me like some kind of stunt. While everybody was blaming Apple around the water coolers in the exchanges and in the big halls of Wall Street corporate big broker dealers, someone had started the rumor that Elizabeth Warren was going to be the VP. And I don't think they thought that it actually changed the outcome of the elections in November as much as the next 3 months would be nothing but the Silicon Valley firms getting bludgeoned, hung, stabbed, garroted by her over the next 3 weeks or 3 months, actually a little less than 3 months now. And of course, like most rumors, they originated by someone who heard it from somebody that they didn't know. And that really caused the acceleration. The thought that it was Apple's downgrade by some company that does not matter, it'd been out there for about 2 hours. So I don't understand how that would suddenly catch fire 2 hours later. I don't think the company has much. But almost always, if you're listening to the news, you'll find some kind of excuse that the cable network, what would you call it? Infotainment, financial infotainment people will tell you. And then you go back and you find out what the real story is. And of course, futures started turning right around after they found out that someone wasn't going to go after those Silicon Valley companies. In fact, somebody that actually owes her entire political career to those donors out there in San Francisco. So, like I said, I don't think it changes much in the election scheme of things. I do think it mattered to the next 8 weeks of commentary, rolling commentary about how evil the Silicon Valley companies are, that, of course, are in the backyard of the new vice president candidate, right? The candidates. But that's it. Anyway, you got to know that you're wrong sometimes, but it's especially coming into something like options expiration today. I always get on options expiration day, on earnings, before earnings, you get some kind of article. I'm always smelling a rat. Doesn't mean that I don't have one around here somewhere, But I smell rats a lot. And generally, you find out that within 24 hours, the story is equine affluence. Is that the easiest way to say something like that? Something close to that. And you find out that it's not a big deal. So that when we turned around today, I figured we had a ton of people all dive in short right at the close. Of course, today is the day that we go delta neutral. And that is when market makers in options try to make sure that they can't lose any money. They'll buy or sell the equities on the opposite side of what they have to make sure that no matter what happens, they basically end up with the money that they have today. Now, for me, this is one of the biggest days of the month because I get to see the cards that these folks are having by looking at the options. They have to put those option positions in. Now, I'd say 8 out of every 12 months, you get some fairly decent predictions with options. The times that you don't are when you get into quad and triple witching. And those, which I think is coming up, right, in September, are the months that tend to not have very good predictions by just using options. It's with futures and some of the other synthetic items out there, a lot of times those months are way off. But as I've been saying, market certainly looked like, or the options were kind of saying that 3,400 was the high yesterday. I kind of said that maybe 3,500. And we'll see. I'll know tonight about 8 or 9 o'clock after all the data's run. But I'm going to say that unless something drastically changes, I think we just drift up into about 3,500, maybe 3,450, 3,500. 80% of the time, the low of today in the S&P cash is going to be exceeded on the 21st. So what do we have here? Yeah, 33.55 on the S&P. So you have to have a fairly decent argument right now that we're going to close below 33.55 a week from Friday. And you can move around a little bit. If you go real high, maybe there's a short in it. If you go real low, maybe there's a long position in it. But on average now, over the last 5 years, from the delta neutral day till expiration, if the market is up those 80% or 8 out of 10 times, you're probably looking at a bias of about 2% higher. About 2 times out of that, maybe 3, you'll get a move that's about 4% down from this. So the long shot is that we go lower, but the amplitude is twice as high as the almost 80% chance of going higher, but about half of what we're going to go lower. So I'd have to see something now. I didn't see it yesterday. I don't see it today. We'll see you in a minute after these short timeout.
If you're not currently using the TAS Profile Scanner when looking at setting up your trading opportunities, then your arsenal is short a mighty weapon. The TAS Profile Scanner is a standalone piece of software that instantly filters over 2,500 global financial markets such as stocks, ETFs, commodity futures, and Forex. Headed by Steve Dahl, TAS understands that in today's technological world, the use of top-flight software applications and technical analysis expertise is essential to successful trading in today's market. You also gain access to the webinar that Steve Dahl and Tom O'Brien just hosted, The Best Way to Use the TAS Profile Scanner to Profit. This webinar archive is available for all subscribers immediately upon signing up. All new subscriptions also come with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to risk. Start your subscription by visiting the front page of TFNN.com today, and you'll find the TAS Profile Scanner under the Services tab. Sign up today. Are you in the market for buying or selling real estate in the Bay Area, including the surrounding St. Petersburg, Tampa, and Clearwater markets? Tiger Real Estate LLC is a firm that has extensive experience in the Tampa Bay area. Whether you're looking to sell your current property for maximum value, or you're in the market for a second home or investment property, Tiger Realty has the experience across all areas of real estate in the Tampa Bay area to help buyers and sellers make the most informed decisions across all price levels. From the price you should be paying per square foot in certain up-and-coming areas to the type of cash flow investment properties are capable of creating, Tiger Real Estate can help you make the best decision when it comes to all areas of the market. Before you make one of the biggest decisions of your financial future, call Tiger Real Estate LLC today at 727-329-8322 or email us at tiger@tfnn.com. That's 727-329-8322. Call us today.
Many of our new listeners have heard about The Tiger's Den. The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of the TFNN shows, plus see all of the charts as they happen live and have access to archives of all of those charts. You can test drive The Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days and greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets and how to make your money work for you. Details on The Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com.
TFNN has launched our brand new website. You can still visit us at the same TFNN.com URL, but when you do, you'll see a new and improved homepage with a much simpler navigation, whether you're watching Tiger TV live in high definition or just accessing your newsletter subscriptions. We even have new pricing in 6 months and yearly options. Check out the new TFNN.com now and experience all the upgrades. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-873-7618.
And we're going to go to where is it at here? Dave in Santa Fe. How you doing today, Dave?
Hi, Dave. Everything's cool. So let me ask you a question. We've got Tesla announced this. I got a couple questions. Tesla announced the split. They're doing really great. Apple did a split announcement. I don't know when it's going to happen. They're doing great. Don't you think Amazon should be right around the corner?
I am not sure about Amazon. I think Bezos likes having the big guys owning all his stock. And so most retail people won't buy Amazon. I think he kind of likes that. So I think that's more of an issue for that. For the other two, it's an issue of needing a high stock price for some of the stuff that these guys want to do. So, there's a couple of things. Generally, you get splits, you get IPOs, get a lot of stuff that shows that the people inside Wall Street think that we're going to get higher prices. So generally, if you think the market's headed lower, you don't actually go out and split your stock. You generally want to use that to ramp it up even higher. And so I don't think there's anything imminent in the demise of Apple or Tesla for the splits. And to tell you the truth, the big IPOs that they're trying to push out here shortly, like Airbnb and some of these others, makes me think they think that there's a market and the cash for it. So yesterday I was thinking that we probably went a little higher. I still think it. And, when we look at the IPO calendar going forward, they're still shoving stuff in it, which means they think that there is still time to get those things out the door.
Okay. All that said, I want to switch now. We are having a big day on SPX or the E-minis. When you say the 3,500, are you talking about the SPX or are you talking about the E-minis by next week?
I'm talking the S&P cash.
Which are you talking about? Is that the SPX or the ES, the E-minis?
The symbol that I use is, I think it's GSPC, but it's the S&P 500. It's 3383 right now.
Okay, that's mine. Mine is the SPX. So, all right.
Okay.
Okay. All right. My other question is, the Russell 2000 is not having a good day finally. It's about due. You think all the oxygen is being sucked out of there, that was being put in them, is now going into, obviously, the NASDAQ? Or not obviously, but do you think that has some bearing?
Well, no, I think that some of the stuff that I was talking about a little bit earlier, the IBB, same kind of thing. You don't want to be the punching bag for months at a time politically. And I think people were moving into the Russell thinking that maybe we would get something like a Warren VP, that we'd have 10 weeks of nothing but talking them down. And so I think all that money that was moving into the Russell is now probably going to kind of rotate back into the NASDAQ as it did today. Right.
That's the word. The rotation has begun out of the Russell.
Everybody's looking for a faster horse because, of course, when you get this much higher in the markets, it's harder to make the same kind of money you did off the lows, right? So everybody's always looking to jump from one horse to another, and we're seeing that quite vivid today. But like I said, I don't see anything out here that says the market tanks. If I look at the options tonight, and the option market makers are feeling fairly frisky through at least the 21st, I'm not going to get too excited about trying to find another high. There were the technicals, at least in the NASDAQ, were as weak as they'd been since the lows of whatever it was, April. So I was feeling a little bit like there could have been something down there. But, when you get a market that it gets bought now 4 times off the lows, it's very tough to think that there isn't cash down there to buy something. So I don't think people are real froggy about buying stuff up here. They're probably, like I said yesterday, I have a feeling a lot of people went short yesterday at the close, thinking this was it, and only to get washed out. I didn't. Even though the market kind of sold off yesterday, I wasn't sure why, and it didn't seem very interesting. Everybody just stood back from buying. And so, today, being delta neutral day is much more important to me than the close yesterday. So we'll see how the market closes today. If you get another 200 points down on the NASDAQ, maybe you by the close you can maybe color me curious. But at the moment, I just don't see anything other than this thing stumbles, and probably the best word, stumbles higher. And it's either, my guess is going to either be 3450 or 3,500 for the 21st. And but I'll look at the options tonight and see where they think the market's going.
But rotation-wise, maybe the Russell's had its good day in the sun the last 8, 10, well, more than the last 30 days. It's been 30 days.
Yeah, I think there was a few things. One, that the economy's actually doing a lot better than many had thought. Where I think I saw a study this morning where they thought that of the businesses that would reopen, at one point they thought 25% of them would reopen. Now some surveys say that maybe 3/4 of the small businesses that closed would reopen. And of course, those people buy the stuff from the companies in the Russell 2000, not so much the S&P 500, right?
Well, I tell you what, there's some more businesses. I drive around, and there's strip malls that are empty. There's businesses, small restaurants.
But weren't those strip malls empty before?
Not like
this all started?
Not really, no. Not compared to, you go to a mall, you go to a strip mall. I mean,
down here,
who knows what to believe?
Yeah, down here they've been empty. They've been empty for 2 years. So it's not, for what I see, when I drive around, it's not like anything got a whole lot worse. People just weren't going to the small strip malls. The malls themselves are the bigger ones. Are there less people there now? Yes. But is it empty parking lots like it was in April? No, people are back to work. I think maybe it has a lot to do with where you are in the country. And here in Tampa, St. Pete, the impact has been rather low. And even in Florida, for having the most aged population in America, that we're 37th out of 50 in deaths, is a virtual miracle with as many old people as we've had. So anyway, thanks.
Okay, man. Thanks, Dave.
If you're a trader in the market looking to find the path that leads to maximizing profits while decreasing risk, then now is a great time to try out Dave White's daily trading service, The Path of Least Resistance. Through the use of options and equity trades, Dave advises his subscribers on a daily basis of the current market conditions and what possible trade setups are on the horizon. The Path of Least Resistance is published every trading morning, often with updates intraday when initiating trades or closing out positions. Dave White has advised his clients of some outstanding winning options and equity trades in recent months, and now is a great time to try it out for yourself. New subscribers to the Path of Least Resistance receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. See for yourself the types of options and equity trades that are available by signing up for the Path of Least Resistance today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com and selecting the newsletter tab. Sign up today.
Hi folks, Tom O'Brien here. If you'd like to get my daily newsletter, Market Insights, then now is a great time to sign up for a 30-day free trial. Every morning by 9:30, I send out my morning letter to subscribers with market commentary on a variety of markets, currencies, and commodities to keep investors up to date on the day's trading action. Included in Market Insights are specific buy and sell recommendations for stocks, ETFs, and even options, with stops and price targets included for every trade in my newsletter. If you'd like to try my newsletter risk-free for 30 days, then head over to the front page of TFNN and you'll find Market Insights under Trading Newsletters. I use my years of trading experience to bisect and dissect the market every morning and give my subscribers the most important information they need to know for the day ahead. I even issue afternoon updates for my subscribers whenever warranted with important market action. I'm always scouring the market for the next great trading opportunity. Sign up for your 30-day free trial to my daily newsletter, Market Insights, today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Wow! Go get them, folks.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And what do we have? Oh, question about Facebook from Wayne. I mean, you're still on the 3x3 on the upside. You gapped up on earnings back on the 31st. You had 53 million shares. You're just doing about 15 million shares now. Am I dying to get long here? The answer is no. I'm looking for a lot of stocks that maybe have been washed out that are still good buys. Even if you're right, making a few percent on the upside of these across the next few months isn't the thing I'm looking for. I'm looking to make 20 or 30% on a trade to make up for the times that I'm wrong, 5% or 10%. And so I just, a lot of these things, I don't see the big doubles, triples, and home runs. But you're just kind of doing it. I think a lot of these stocks could just go sideways for a handful of days now. And then, we'll see what happens next week. But, with the push today, it's not uncommon to see a little bit of consolidation and going sideways. Maybe the shorts hop back on a little bit and they get to run them one more time. But, it's not, as somebody's commenting here, being a bear is a very tough thing to be if you're actually trying to make any money right now. If you're sitting to the sides, no position is a position. So that's not it. NASDAQ up 244, Dow up 269, NASDAQ up 49. And like I said, probably going to touch 3,400 maybe the end of the day, maybe the next couple of days. And then at that point, I suspect everybody starts shorting. And then the question is whether or not they can push this market up and run all those shorts to 3,450 or 3,500. But I will say that I can wait till tomorrow to actually plant a flag as I want to see what the options do look like when they come in today. Anyway, I guess I because I used to do it, I get so much enjoyment out of it now when people yell and scream about the economy and it should be doing this and it's doing that and the market doesn't follow it. I don't know. It's like complaining against the weather. I've given up on doing that for the most part. It is what it is. I think it's kind of like arguing with, let's say that you're a fisherman and you want to go out on the Atlantic and catch some great fish, but there's a hurricane. I mean, does it really do any good to say God shouldn't have a hurricane now? You do the best with what you've got, and if there's a hurricane there, you just stay in port. You don't go out there and do something. So if you think you have an abiding belief that the market's wheels are going to fall off, then short ad nauseum. I just don't see it, no matter what everybody sees around themselves. If you're a glass half empty person or a glass half full, or in my case, bring me a full glass. Come back with that. Don't do that now. So anyway, give me a call, 877-927-6648. And don't make me play the negative waves thing again. Okay, question about Microsoft now. Again, I think a lot of these things are going to be doing some consolidation. You came down yesterday. Volume didn't really increase much compared to the gap higher back on the 3rd. That was up with 79 million shares. You were down with 36 million shares. A little bit of a reversal here. Do I think this is going to break out and go to all-time new highs? Over the next couple of days, I would say it's more than likely you get some kind of trading range between 205 and 210 as this thing probably consolidates the bottom out here. But next week, could we go back and retest 2017? I think I can. Boeing. I was actually writing something about them today that had to do with safety. That was very interesting, but nothing to do with the stock markets, so to speak. We talked about this one testing that 103 million share low back at $166. You've got your first bounce. You've got it with some decent energy. My guess is that you probably bounce off about 166. What's the low today? 175 or 173. My guess is that you're bouncing around this 166 level for a while. But orders still coming in for Boeing. Still 4,000 plane backlog, why they don't need people right now. In fact, I had somebody just buy a house down the street that came from Wichita. And I think he went to work for one of the big defense contractors, because everybody literally shut down in Wichita because, of course, around Boeing and everything. And I mean, he got a nice job and everything, but, you know, he's got his wife back up there trying to sell the house, or at least get it ready to sell, and her move down. But, you know, in a year from now, will he be back up in Wichita? My guess is that they'll hire him back, and he'll go back to the company he's worked for like 25 years. But literally everything's shut down in Wichita. So it depends on which state and which town you're in. But if you got hit by the Boeing shutdown, no. Is any of it good? No. Does any of that change? No. If you're a pilot, it doesn't. But let's make sure that we know exactly what's going on, and that is that eventually this is all going to turn around, and I think the market's looking past a lot of that. Anyway, on Boeing, very interesting, but my guess is, what did you get, 189, let's call it 190 yesterday, to 166. You're probably going to, that's probably a good range for this thing to base out for a while, maybe a month or two, is what you would like. Then when everybody quits talking or calling in about it, gets down to 166 and there's no volume, everything's going a little bit better. Everybody's starting to get back to work. I think that's where you're going to be wanting to look at it. Polar, Starlink, almost operational. Yeah, they're launching 60 satellites at a time. We talked about Amazon trying to get into that business over the last couple of Fridays. They've got the same kind of thing going on. So I don't know if there's enough business for both of them. I think there's certainly business enough for one of them. But I think dividing up that, the Amazon one is a little higher in altitude, which means their latency is going to be a little worse. And I think that's a bad thing. I think if there was a definitive issue between those things, like Betamax versus VHS, yeah, I think the problem is always going to be latency with these satellite systems. And if they can get it below 100 milliseconds on Starlink, I think that's a winning proposition. We'll be back in a minute.
Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den. The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of the TFNN shows, plus see all of the charts as they happen live and have access to archives of all of those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days and greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets and how to make your money work for you. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com.
TFNN has launched our brand new website. You can still visit us at the same TFNN.com URL, but when you do, you'll see a new and improved homepage with a much simpler navigation, whether you're watching Tiger TV live in high definition or just accessing your newsletter subscriptions. We even have new pricing in 6 months and yearly options. Check out the new TFNN.com now and experience all the upgrades. TFNN.com, educating investors.
If you haven't checked out the newsletters page of TFNN.com, what are you waiting for? All of the TFNN newsletters are informative, up-to-date, affordable, and a must-have for every trader looking to gain a competitive informational edge in today's markets. TFNN newsletters cover every aspect of the markets to offer you the very latest in market news. Plus, new subscribers get to test drive our newsletters risk-free for 30 days. From all aspects of the markets, including stocks, bonds, metals, commodities, and tech, there's a newsletter to fit your needs exclusively from TFNN. Stay informed each day you trade and get that competitive edge that will help you stay ahead of the game. Visit our newsletters page by going to TFNN.com and click the newsletters button near the top of the page. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Are China A shares hot or not? If you trade China A shares, now may be time to take a closer look. Trade CHAU or CHAD, Directions Daily CSI 300 China A Share Bull and Bear ETFs. China A shares in either direction. Visit directioninvestments.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV for the latest market information.
And look like we're kind of stuck here. I want to flick the dial like you used to do on the, when you were running out of gas in the olden days, and you'd flick the gauge, maybe kind of move the car around, see if you could slosh some gas around, see to get that needle moved just a little. You don't get those today. They made the gas gauges too good. So you don't get that little satisfaction. Up 48 on the S&P cash, Dow up 268, NASDAQ up 239, Russell up 4. As I said, I think a lot of people were piling into Russell, thinking that there would be problematic issues for the NASDAQ big shots. But, one of the things that you can look forward to is big IPOs. Big IPOs normally mean that there will be a market that will accept and can accept those. Now, sometimes they sell a little bit of the market into those in the previous couple of days. So you kind of want to watch out for that. But if they think the market's going to make it, generally it does. They're pretty good at doing it. So anyway, question about gold, GLD. Do I think anything's changed here? No. I'd still suspect that you'd probably want to see a couple more days out here, like into Friday, maybe Thursday night, Friday. You'd want to look and reevaluate if you were short off the top on gold. My guess is that you came down with monstrous volumes, 45 million shares in the GLD. That's compared to the gap up with 21 million shares. So again, you never know. No one knows the future. But generally, if you get a huge gap down like this, the first thing you want to do is count to 3. And over time, that's the best way to make money. Doesn't mean that it will work in this time. I got a private comment here, but I'll just say this. Markets go up and markets go down. And the less that I get emotionally invested in that, the better my trading generally does. So I don't have to say that you have to be a bull or a bear, just probably more pragmatic. And the fact that, like I said, I'm not going to be able to change this market one bit. So I kind of have to live with it, just like the weather. So maybe I should just kind of think of it as the weather. I may not like it, but I can't do anything about it. So I will maybe use my efforts, intelligence, and diligence in areas that I can be profitable or that will make me happy. Either one of those is fine. Anyway, on Tesla, what are you going to do with that? I felt bad about Tesla at its highs when I wanted to short it because there weren't any shares available. That tells me that the big guys are probably in this right now. As I've said before, and has happened in Tesla and other stocks, the one thing you really have to worry about is when you have a very active CEO, especially one that owns a lot of shares. because they can always take those shares in and out of margin accounts. And by doing so, force everybody to actually cover their short positions. They just have to be covered. So I'm one that is always reticent when I find a hot dogger, kind of like Musk, running around moving a stock. Eventually, like all things, it'll come to an end. I just haven't seen that end yet. I still suspect that this thing's going to play around and maybe pull back to 1,100, especially if we have any more issues with China. My guess is that Tesla in China probably ends up being nationalized by the Chinese eventually one day, meaning that it's probably worthless. Other questions out here on the XLE. You're getting a little bit of action in the XLE, but man, is it painfully slow at this point. You're up a little bit. I think we're going to have maybe a presidential action, some kind of thing like that, where people have to get oil back from the United States. I don't see the Saudis or anybody in the Middle East getting in a big hurry to higher prices and letting a lot of the energy sector come back here in the United States. My guess is that they are going to have to push something so that we don't go to heaven and hell all the time, depending on the whims of the Mideast cartel for oil. But right now, I don't see anything that says that we're going to get that in the next few months. I don't hear a groundswell of people talking about it. Most people like low energy prices, so it's tough to get into an election saying you actually want the prices to go up a little bit. Okay. Question on DDD. Back here at $6. The biggest problem with DDD and SYSS Stratasys is getting parts from the Chinese right now. Apparently, that continues to be very hard. I see the chart, though. $5.84, 3.3 million shares. And you got down on about 1.8 million shares. It's not a really bad-looking chart. I would have liked to seen a lot lighter volume and not this huge gap down on earnings. So am I seeing anything here? Again, when you come down this much and you get close to it, you still get a lot of volume. My go-to answer is wait for some consolidation. I think maybe when everything gets going and everybody, we are going to see a bottom eventually, someday, in the whole COVID thing. And it kind of looks like the market's saying that that's probably not more than maybe 30 days off. But that's it. Now, another question on Wayfair. Do I still see the chance of this thing seeing its last gap higher? This is one that I would short if we get a double repo pattern or I see a big gap higher. You've got the makings of it here. What you want is a few days below this, few days above it, and then the next close below it. So maybe we get some kind of sell-off into the last week of August. But it's hard for me to get all bearish going in at least to the 21st. Okay, other things going on here today. Question about Micron. Okay. We got those answered. It's hard for me to be real bearish on Micron, especially with both AMD and NVIDIA getting ready to put out huge amounts of new video cards for Christmas. Don't know, but what do you have? 18 million shares. And you had about 21 million shares. So the chart is not looking as good as you would want. Fundamentally, it's hard to get real bearish on Micron. We'll be back.
Back in the day, I joined Hotel California in 2006, and like many of you, was drawn in by, as well as,
whatever you think about, you bring about. Whatever you focus on grows.
You see, I believe that everything in life happens for us, not to us. And Tom ignited the fire within me to want to learn how to master the markets. So how did I go from knowing nothing about technical analysis to becoming the #1 market timer for the S&P 500 in 2018 and the #2 market timer in 2019? Simply put, I hired coaches with a proven track record, which led me to a whole new set of tools that I created to interpret the message of buyers and sellers. I would love the opportunity to teach you this award-winning set of tools and to help you improve your market timing. You can test drive my newsletter service, Mastering Probabilities, for the next 30 days with no risk to you. Plus, you'll gain access to archive workshops that'll take you step by step through my system. Sign up today by going to the homepage of TFNN.com and selecting Mastering Probability in the newsletter tab.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today. With markets trading with extreme volatility and peaks and troughs everywhere, regardless of what you're looking at in the markets, this is a great time to see the type of analysis Basil Chapman delivers for his subscribers every market day with the Opening Call newsletter. Basil has been analyzing markets, providing his take for subscribers to his trading services since 1984. Every morning, Basil publishes an update for his subscribers, along with weekend and evening updates when warranted. The Opening Call provides traders a daily market overview with regard to the direction of the key indices, selective stocks, and commodities, along with specific recommendations, including stops and targets. You also gain instant access to Basil's subscriber webinar archive from earlier this year, a dark cloud cover, and essential market analysis. Ride the Chapman wave today by signing up for the Opening Call newsletter on the front page of TFNN.com under the newsletter tab. New subscribers get a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to risk. Sign up today.
Catch Tom O'Brien, professional trader and educator, founder of TFNN. Also, a special guest on CNBC. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
And what do we have here? Okay, question about AMD as we go in, since I did break it. Now, here's where you worry about the possibility of a double repo pattern. Very good in AMD. You got nothing but higher closes back since the 17th of July. You got now 2 closes and maybe 3 closes below the 3x3. You get a couple of days above it, and then you get the next close below it. Generally, that's it. The thing I dislike is you have 2 decent gaps. My guess is you could get that third gap more likely before any downturn into this market. Again, I'm not chasing the ones up here at the highs, but it is problematic to go and say you want to be bearish right now until you get some kind of signal. Another question on TSM, which is Taiwan Semiconductor, which we talked about the last couple of days. It's up 2%. A lot of these look the same. I'm not forecasting double repo patterns in it. I'm just saying that at this point, that's what you want to be looking for. So you've had a couple closes down here below, a little messier than AMD's, but you get a couple closes above it and then the close back below it. Yeah, you could see some gap fills. I just do not see that at the moment, but we'll talk more about this tomorrow after I go through all the numbers tonight. I just can't get all that bearish or depressed, it's just not going to do me any good. I'll have to think happy thoughts as I continue on with the markets. Okay, as we close the show, don't see anything changing here. Up 48 on the S&P cash. Dow's up 286. Nasdaq's up 230. Russell's up 5. So not a bad turnaround from a big frown yesterday. No more negative waves, at least today. See you tomorrow. Same bat channel, same bat time. So when you can, not when you have to.